Some breaking news coming in this morning. There's news of explosion at the Bodh Gaya temple there. Explosions reportedly happened in the Mahabodhi temple complex. 2 people have been injured. This is the breaking news that we are getting. Explosions reported at the Mahabodhi temple, where 2 people have been injured. For more on that, we are now being joined by correspondent Prabhakar Kumar on the phone line. Prabhakar, what more details do you have?
Details as of now are very sketchy. We have confirmed reports that there have been 3 minor explosions inside the premises of Mahabodhi temple, which is in Bodh Gaya, and it's a very important Buddhist pilgrimage center. And 1 person has been injured and the other person has sustained a minor injury. The explosion was very local in nature. That has been confirmed by the SP of Gaya. But why this explosion? What was this bomb all about, and why it was planted near Mahabodhi temple? We don't have any details as of now about that.
Prabhakar, explain for our viewers the area that we are talking about and what kind of security arrangements that are there in place.
See, Mahabodhi temple is a very important pilgrimage center, a Buddhist pilgrimage center, and Buddhists from all across the world come and visit there. So that is one of the most important tourist spots in Bihar, and especially for Buddhists across the world. That is one of the most important temples they visit in their lifetime. And there is adequate security arrangement there. The frisking before actually pilgrimage, before the pilgrims are allowed inside the temple premises. The security arrangements are always there in place. But why this explosion? Because the explosion is very local in nature, and the time of explosion is in the wee morning hours. So actually it has caused the minimum damage. So why this timing was chosen? Why this local bomb was planted there? These are the questions the SP has not been able to answer as of now. But as the time passes, we'll certainly have those answers.
Prabhakar, I understand that things are sketchy right now, but the bombs used in these explosions, were they crude bombs?
Yeah, that is what he has told, that it was crude bomb. It was a local bomb. Had it been a sophisticated one, it would have certainly caused more damage. And the timing of the bomb blast was so that it caused minimum damage, because it happened in the morning hours where there is a minimum crowd over there.
And any damage that has been caused to the structure that you know of, Prabhakar?
No damage to the structure. Only 2 persons have sustained, and that too minor injuries.
Prabhakar Kumar, stay with us. The breaking news we are getting in this Sunday morning: there have been explosions at the Mahabodhi temple. 2 people have been injured, as Prabhakar has been telling us. The details are sketchy at the moment, but the timing is such that there's been minimum damage caused. There's no damage to the structure of the temple. There were 3 explosions. Crude bombs were used. Explosions, Prabhakar, are saying the bombs used were local in nature. Prabhakar, have the investigating teams arrived there? What is the situation there right now?
Yeah, the local administration officials, they're all at the spot, because when I talked to the SP, he was there at the spot, and he said that we are actually trying to investigate what this bomb was all about, how it actually entered the temple premises, and why it was actually kept in the first place. So these are the details the administration is already looking into. Administration officials, they're all there at the spot. They have reached there, and the investigation about this explosion is already on.
And Prabhakar, we were talking about the timing. The timing is such that there was minimum damage caused. If you could elaborate a little bit on that.
As I told you, Mahabodhi temple is a very important Buddhist pilgrimage center, and across the day, during the daytime, when actually the pilgrims gather there for their darshan. That is the time when the maximum damage would have been caused, especially during the daytime. But why this blast in the morning hours, where there is no pilgrims around, and the blast happened in the wee morning hours? So that is a question actually the administration is also confused about, and they are trying to look into all aspects.
And Prabhakar, there were 3 explosions that took place?
Yeah, that has been confirmed, that there were 3 explosions. As I told you, the explosions were local in nature. It has injured only 2 persons, and no damage to the temple or the structure around the temple.
I understand it's very early and maybe you haven't been able to get in touch with the administration. Was there any warning of any sort? Was security tightened? Was there any indication of anything?
See, Mahabodhi temple has always been in the target, and then the administration, the local administration always keeps a very tight security ring around the temple. The reason being that it's one of the most important pilgrimage centers, it's one of the most important tourist center, and especially the foreign tourists from across the world, from all Buddhist countries like China, Thailand, they all gather here, and it's like for Buddhists it's like a Makkah. So that is the reason why the maximum number of foreign tourists come to Bodh Gaya and for their darshan. And that is the reason why administration takes no chances as far as the security is concerned. It has always been on the priority list of the government for providing security. And but how the snaps happen, how this crude bomb sits inside the temple, why a blast of a very local nature, why the timing was in the morning hours. So these are questions administration is trying to find answer to.
Prabhakar Kumar, stay with us. For all of our viewers joining in right now, there have been 3 explosions at Bodh Gaya in Bihar. There have been explosions that Prabhakar was taking. They are local in nature. 2 people have been injured, but the bombs used were crude bombs. Security, as we know, is tight all year around at this temple site. It's a very important place for Buddhists. There's been tight security, but there was no specific alert of any kind. The blasts have not caused any structural damage, and as the blast occurred early morning, there was minimum damage. The temple area is very crowded in the afternoon as the day progresses. Prabhakar, what more information are you picking up with the administration, local administration that is there at the spot?
We had word with the local SP of there, and he confirmed that the 3 blasts have happened. He only confirmed that they were very local in nature and only 2 persons were injured. When I asked him this question, that why this blast, why this blast of a very local nature, he said that is exactly the question we are trying to find answer to, because we don't understand why a blast at this hour, because whoever actually did it knew very well that it would cause minimum damage in the morning. There's no pilgrims lined up there for the darshan. So that actually confused not only us but the local administration officials who are actually there on the spot trying to find answer, and the forensic team is also there at the spot.
Okay, and where have the injured been taken, Prabhakar? Do we know on that?
The injured to the local Bodh Gaya hospital. It's a big hospital. There is a Mahabodhi University campus in the Bodh Gaya itself. So they have been actually taken to the hospital there in the Mahabodhi University campus.
So 3 explosions taking place the Sunday morning at the Mahabodhi temple. Though they were local in nature, crude bombs were used. 2 people have been injured. Remember, the Mahabodhi temple is a very important place for Buddhists. There's a lot of people that visit it all year around, but because of the timing, that it was early morning, there's been minimum damage caused, and there's been no structural damage to the temple. Prabhakar, do we know exactly where inside that complex did these blast explosions take place?
If you see the Mahabodhi temple complex, it's a huge complex, it's a big complex, and there is a temple inside, and there are various shops selling souvenirs. So what actually the probable situation would be that the blast happened near the there's a queue of souvenir shops all around the temple. There are pilgrims who actually visit there later shop for the souvenirs, especially the Buddhist souvenirs. So the explosion actually has happened near the souvenir shop, and maybe somebody who owns a shop there, or somebody who actually went for shopping, maybe a reason for a blast.
And Prabhakar, as you were pointing out, there's been no specific alert to indicate any sort of danger of this kind, but there's tight security all year around at the temple because of the number of people that go to visit it.
not only because of the number of the people or the number of the pilgrims, but because of the very importance of this particular place, because this, as I told you, is the most important pilgrimage center for Buddhists from across the world, and also a very important tourist spot as far as Bihar is concerned, because Bihar attracts maximum number of foreign tourists because of Bodh Gaya. This is the place where Buddhists from across the world would visit at least once in their lifetime. And if you go to Bodh Gaya, you'll find Buddhists from China, from countries like Thailand, from countries like Singapore. This is flooded with Buddhists across, and throughout the year, the Buddhist pilgrims are there. So, as far as the security of the temple is concerned, for the government, for the local government, it's always on the high priority list that security around the temple has to be tight across the year.
Okay, and you're saying across the year security is tight, but in the past, Prabhakar, there have been numerous threats against this Mahabodhi temple, so that's why the security has always been very tight. That is what you're telling us. But there have been threats and danger to the Mahabodhi temple in the past.
See, whenever there is a high alert sounded, wherever there is a blast across the country, anywhere, whether it's a blast in Mumbai, whether it's a blast in Jaipur or in Delhi, whenever the state government sounds a high alert, Mahabodhi temple is one place where the security is always tightened. And as I told you, because it's a very important place, it's a place where actually by exploding a crude bomb also, you can actually create news, and that is exactly what has happened today.